and he always feels that morally he's right above every single person. By how the human part of Jurgen Klopp is something I am a fair na am a kono free say utie ne nkomo a wodi na odonipa na tembia no bibia wo ye bia no de na koma eni ni bibia na shim no de. On the subject of coaching Manchester United, on the subject of Liverpool, kwa ofa so be than a team no, on the subject of Diogo Jota, when I listen to him, yaw, na me hu say he's a pure human, and this was a coach. Liverpool got it right. And if I should say Liverpool got it right, I think say Liverpool on and off the field, he will always be remembered as one of the greatest coaches that have ever coached this particular Liverpool side. Yeah, it's not all about trophies. Na to the bia we hear say odebe team bi, but to the bia there's a kind of empathy. Any adibia odebe boa ama team no say uja honom kona edebe yen kakaye. All the time I was listening to the interview, I was teary because this is a man who meant his words. I'm only imagining Senko opportunity coaching Manchester United. Manchester United would have been far gone. He made a statement say Alex Ferguson team Uja or the Manchester United no. Any team near they build a squad, which I perfectly agree. Maybe I'm a we say open nipa or how Manchester United go Manchester United pano na say Alex Ferguson can be because if you look at the results, if you look at a lot of things, getting to the latter stages of the career as a Manchester United head coach, not new man and picking famano. But I loved every bit of the interview of Jurgen Klopp. What cheso nipa no nipa ampa. Yeah, on the Champions League near funding community this weekend is a matter of choice. The entire America says it's a matter of choice. They say either you sacrifice the midweek game for your weekend game, and now say over sacrifice your weekend game for the midweek game. Obia bia na nsusu ye ne nsusu pon ne na adwene ne bibia che ne say obetima ya ama na brosa so obetima ya ama na brosa. And about 4:45 for the first game that will be going on FC Barcelona and Olympiacos. FC Barcelona and Olympiacos. Now, yeah, Barcelona and Olympiacos game never bana. There is an El Clasico inside because Namia Duma weekend way Barcelona ball at the Real Madrid. That game is very important to Barcelona due to two things. One, Barcelona believes that they have a chance to go on top of the league table during this particular weekend. Barcelona will have another opportunity to continue their dominance in terms of winning games over Real Madrid within the course of the season. And they are eager to push and get results against Real Madrid in Amiadoma Sunday. Now, this is a team that is also suffering from squad depth due to their injury situations here. So, squad will be balancing say because quality squad depth are injuries and in India senior yaw may assure Senka betima che squad nim to ebi mo Olympiacos mo match no na ebi so any o ma home enkobo Real Madrid game no. But do I feel Barcelona have a chance against Olympiacos? Yes. Do I feel Barcelona can even win? Starting a bench players be omedi jumana. Yes, but a risky. Already what we knew one game more Champions League in the world lose bako. You need to start gathering points. But the truth about the current Champions League format is that you have 8 matches. Oh, any maku 6 your opportunity to qualify for playoff no also. Not necessarily the top 8. But opportunity to qualify for a playoff no is very important. So we need 6 solid games you are good to go. Now within those 6 solid games now be winning and 8 ni na you factor 1 teams are no one they pay. 2 teams are one they bro so. And 3 teams are one they bro also. Now where the matches are Barcelona beboa already no lose back against team are not 2 years on the money moboso in the shape of Paris Saint-Germain. Fast forward, team for also honoma on the Barcelona share be mu in the shape of Chelsea so game yeday. It is say o calculate those games ni na e be 3 over fan say ebia let me lose 2, let me draw 1 and win the 6 matches, then qualify for the playoff of the Champions League. I think that is where Barcelona will find themselves. But against Olympiacos, so Bobby say Marc, Casedo now rested Frankie de Jong, yeah, it should be able to give you results. Ronald Araujo once started the last game of Mobo in the league. If you are starting Ronald Araujo in this particular game against Olympiacos, trust you are wishing say Obetimenya goes in the amount. Femi Lopez Mobetimia game with the results in the amount. Yow. Boys no my young boys no money and team nano. You can fix them for this game. Bow the bar and one and Bobo 1-2 to be Ubetima fixing them and in preparation for the game against Real Madrid, which I believe a very tough game at the Barcelona. But Barcelona will win this game and over 1.5. Anytime goal scorer, Meko Ediama Marcus Rashford. Karat ne Pafo say that is one particular game I would advise you to stay off. Say because these are two teams you are not so much conversant with. Despite say we love their history and how they play.
Yes.
But they are quite unpredictable when it comes to such games against Nkonfo. So you have to avoid that particular game. Then you move to the Emirates Stadium where I believe say and umpire Ebedra. Atletico Madrid are making a lot of complaints against Arsenal. Say what a hit and they are doing number. These are all part of football. Ubeka said dark art bini abuchiri. Baby. Obia was said you be dark art for you in Asia. Atletico for dark art. Arsenal for also dark art. Let's not forget that Nipa now here Atletico Madrid sporting director and Ney. One movie about PMO Arsenal. He knows the Atletico Madrid team. He understands the Atletico Madrid team, and he can literally help Atata do one or two things to help them beat Atletico Madrid. But the first few games are Arsenal bought in the Champions League. This is one of their biggest tests of Mubishia in the Champions League. Atletico Madrid, almost good storylines whenever they come to England, even in their worst moments. Atletico Madrid, PMO England, and for clean sheet and Koda. Because be obeko shegu ana onye bibi fanko yaw oba obeshegu wa shegu ono so obesha no bi wo shedi bia be endi 2-2 ebe endi 3-2 but this is an Atletico Madrid aba England aba Liverpool afim yaw this is an Atletico Madrid aba England aba Manchester United afim this is an Atletico Madrid this season yaw aba England aba 2 goals against Liverpool iti eba playing against English teams, they love it. Let's not forget about Chelsea and Atletico Madrid. Anytime they come to the English Premier League, they have something against the English clubs. All the two coaches Diego Simeone were level of experience because we are born in 2 Champions League finals. We are born in top stadia. We are seeing Wabo Old Trafford, Wabo Anfield, Wabo the Santiago Bernabeu, Wabo what coach team no Bayern Munich Allianz Stadium, Wako Juventus coach. He has coached at every single big stadium. It be about intimidation. I don't think it will affect Atletico Madrid, especially Abraham Diego Simeone on their side. Yow, a bit to set pressure and now they beat me for more. But the biggest test for Arsenal's defense, because across every single competition Arsenal won this season, Oma conceded only 3 goals. It is due to the fact to say, Omo 2 great centre backs. I believe say Omo forming one of the best partnerships Albanian will say. So Omo forming one of the best partnerships Albanian will say Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba come on amene wo yede. Mini wudi yaw. Omo chino eye hinka pie mu netewo.
Yes.
Omachino eben white momachino Mosquera mo na yede ewo ho Jurgen Timber as a centre back. So you look at the Arsenal squad and what they can give you in terms of squad depth. These are guys who are ready for this particular contest. But the entire America say your biggest test in the say almost she obi to say Ellen Haaland she go the tia check games no ma consider goals no check strikers no mo butia no any goals na strikers in the share. Then you understand say way about tough test, especially if Atletico Madrid should decide to start Alexander Sørloth and Julian Alvarez
against
Arsenal. 2 different profiles against these 2 centre backs. When they occupy wine, big test. Because when it comes to the technical security on the ball, Julian Alvarez is top there. Only actually more shot in he's there. Julian Alvarez is one particular striker. Why dream Mununu Susu Mubeka say ready or a penalty box striker. So every single now and then, maybe or penalty box in him. Oh, Jano, be about 25 years, 30 years, was so bad. Obetima Peter Bobacone Danet throw. So not to see another profile of striker. When Atletico Madrid decides to go with the long balls, no mube you know. Or one player me 2 years a young trappy ball near holding on to play or is solid. And or a player about Kokuta X Factor. Game ni mo association who be free about crossing back up panya no the happy matum. So I think the biggest test for Arsenal today is not going to be about their midfield. Rodrigo report as well Atletico Madrid that America say Atletico Madrid will fight today by how Zubimendi, Declan Rice. Any Merino Money or Mama Canada. Difficult for Atletico Madrid today. Say midfield, no almost a ball Emery, say midfield, no bit more dominating that Arsenal midfield. I don't think so. In defense, it's going to be Arsenal's attack versus Atletico Madrid's defense, which I believe say they've been a little bit porous at the back line. But now, Adi and Yedinim Diego Simeone na Sesaka Kra, Nanka the team in the back line is very important. It will shana. But I think omone Arsenal attackers no eboboso Arsenal attackers no uyi Bukayo Saka omo makani nyina ha adwen de but enya de ebu adwen nti asese was Atletico Madrid e chire ofo ne yedai it's true it's at par. So I think where the battle is really going to be between both sides is going to be Arsenal's defense against Atletico Madrid's Julian Alvarez and Alexander Sørloth, or even the attack. Yeah, that is where I expect the battle to be. It will be an interesting game, but I don't think we'll be a high-scoring fixture because both teams will be very conservative. I know Mikel Arteta setting games like this, so through Kakao, you will fail to take the risk and all of these things. There's Diego Simeone who will love to attack. But yeah, a lot of goals, but that is a game a bit maybe over 1.5. Home or away, it is always made away. I don't think this game is going to end in a draw. Atletico, yes, because they'll go all out. And I think Arteta will make you this particular opportunity to psych his boys going into the season. It builds confidence. Yeah, see, I started season no Atletico Madrid. Our confidence been infamous. Meboa, I started season when Man City about to watch Manchester United. You've only lost to a Liverpool. It will give you a level of confidence and understanding, carrying on this particular abilities into your next game. Arsenal bebo Crystal Palace. Yeah, another tough game in the weekend. It also Arsenal careful. I'm sure they will balance the squad. Don't be him. Me sure say be a scared. Money other guys maybe bem kakra. We now no guard more opportunity to come and play some of these games. And I think say Arsenal will have a well rested squad for their game against Crystal, because as they say, oh, but Crystal Palace are now wakuma the gym because someone your club who bet me a fan betesa was who bet me a ship away from the Mikel Arteta game. No, then you move on. Manchester City will be traveling away to play Villarreal. Villarreal concede goals pa. Man City should concede goals. It's about who can keep a clean sheet at the end of the day. I think Villarreal are more good players. Papi Guillermo and Fifi, one of Nicolas Pepe Mo. These are guys as Omunyawa. Ebianka Alex Baina, El move to Atletico Madrid. You can count a midfield dominance for Villarreal. So Mitima into the party with Alex Baina. But in his absence, what can they do unless they hit Manchester City on transitions? Which I actually believe that Pep Guardiola has also grown into his game. Or adapted to every single team on any baby or no bar or testo no the baby bibia so ball transitional football. But I think Manchester City will become very dangerous. Some about the transitional football against Villarreal. I know Villarreal will love to dominate play. Who's City? I know you trim the day. Oh, Mammy Money be Guardiola crown my bonny be. Now rare if say and nay on the people in the stars, you know, almost say Uja watch the or Honoma. Dokumone boys never tears with your boys with their show. Yeah, I think this is a game a big both team to score in over 2.5. I think Manchester City will score. Villarreal is going to score. Dortmund far away to Copenhagen, difficult. By Dortmund to win in the half. Paris Saint-Germain against Leverkusen, tough game. But I think this is a game Leverkusen for no quietly they are building something. Quietly. PSG Swatch this is said they are beatable. Even in the French Liga, we see said they are beatable. They Marseille they Strasbourg they show said they are beatable. So I believe it's going to be a game of goals. Both teams to score in over 2.5. I wouldn't be surprised with that game. Jose Mourinho comes back to Newcastle. Difficult game for Eddie Howe. Experience with Jose Mourinho side by Howe. The intensity and the stadium with Newcastle. What is it? Pressure, baby. Anytime goes score in that game, make off of Automadi. Say obet me and ya go at the Amomo Elho. It's interesting Champions League games, but Napoli away to PSV. Difficult game, and I think it's high time Antonio Conte proved to Oyasi Jina say on your local champion. I say why local champion na chedodo. Eba liga kwaje darada. Mate. Meda say meza mamma new team when na new team embra new area na Mike and so ababeto aso na fe there we our foreign still live on Untumi Sports Buffet new say cool there yeah bibi come so technician ka say come I know remember how you come on
Champions League, I love the fact that Messiah I could see the depth of it. But from here, I also have different perspective of everything because so between Arsenal and Atletico Madrid. How are Champions League now? You're starting to say no. Every game I will be you have in mind. You also have domestic affairs, but there are certain areas of the Champions League I'm personally highlighting Accra, and it starts from Arsenal and Atletico Madrid. This is the most expensive fixture of today. Atletico Madrid Arsenal game is the most expensive fixture. It comprises of the most valuable players. Ubeko Arsenal side Aqua to be set to sad at 24 million euros, and it happens to be the lowest value for a player in terms of Arsenal squad. So that 24 million the lowest. It happens to be some of the highest value our club. And Oba even before my free Arsenal, you have 62 million euros for Obitse Merino, 70 for Jurgen, 75 for Saliba, and you check Arsenal squad now, they have 157 million euros for Bukayo Saka. This is one of the most valuable squads for Europe this season, and they come up against Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid squad I free Bakumielu Womune, very polished and but check fees, one player the second was for Julian Alvarez, the striker they brought in from Manchester City. You go through table, and you have Bayern Madrid, PSG, Inter Milan, Arsenal, Karabakh surprisingly a position was seized after match day 2. Transition their match day 3. Obenya Borussia Dortmund, Man City, and of course another complete top 8. Barcelona, Ubenya Tottenham Hotspur, Atletico Madrid, Newcastle, Marseille, Club Brugge, Sporting Lisbon, Eintracht Frankfurt, Barcelona, and Liverpool. Last time, at this point, 2 clubs we no more Soroma or more try so show dominance. It's changed. Chelsea, your own team, and Napoli more so and the second bottom part of the table and I was screen. So I say you don't know, but you really quickly now you should game them. One of the best strikers in the game currently, Julian Alvarez, and by rating, who's a game way more one of the toughest games I've shown Europe this season between Arsenal and Atletico Madrid. On any other day, it could be semi-final, it could be quarter-final, it could be round of 16. But that's just match day 3 according to the new format of the Champions League. But all checking rating the lowest rated player of what the who is squad for both teams is 6.2. For Alexander Sørloth.
Okay.
And under 6.2 because most of the often are involved in game. He really hangs and hawks around the box. Said Jurgen Giroud and it's a game what the elite of the elite. Arsenal will have many chances. We are thinking about 2 teams there. In terms of defense, we are very astute. In the defense, Arsenal team there is a sakakra. For Atletico Madrid, we've seen and known them to be a very defensive side, stalwarts about what you're on. But for Arsenal, individually, they've gotten in their books some of the best centre backs in the game currently. And even Okalatras, more variety power. Oka Calafiori, Oka Lewis Kelly, they have a composition of players. Open defense, open offense, Latra, back in right back position. Almost also enough materials. One thing I've learned about Arsenal team is say you can put many players behind the ball, but more deep lying playmakers like Declan Rice, like the 2 central defenders are despite the fact that from set pieces, we've seen Arsenal to be very much tougher in the final third. So many free kicks, so many corners, they really take a lot of chances in these circumstances. But from open play, one player, as I said, will see from critically for Arsenal, Bukayo Saka. He will win fouls, he will be the chief in terms of the creativity. Because Atletico Madrid invested very much deeper. Number BM, all players behind the ball, all players following the ball. It is a Arsenal board no more check or transition so on back now Atletico Madrid about 6, 7, 8 players behind the ball. How do you penetrate? You need somebody like Bukayo Saka or be off a ball and stick it to the feet. Or be to be progressive ball. My catch ball progression deep. These areas are not a progressive ball. His profile, in addition to Mr. Martin Odegaard, should do the magic for Arsenal. It's a big game. I would really align myself with Messiah, say, any high-scoring game.
Sam.
We'll be talking about Julian Alvarez. We'll be talking about Griezmann. Yes, also Bukayo Saka, Jurgen, Martinelli, Munich support. So Trossard. You don't forget about these players. Even from midfield, both teams will play so much me add a lot of goals, but it will be a lot more defending than scoring. This is how the game is going to be. Watch here. You have how many players behind the ball? But how Arsenal place the ball, no, because you have somebody or playmaking from deep like Declan Rice. But you have a two ball in the free abano. Me are penetrating most of the defenses. Going or seeing this game beyond a game of 3 goals. 1-2-1 for us. I'll be hanging around there. But if you pushing me there, sticking to the 1-1. I'll be sticking to 1-1. Away from that game, you know, yeah, share other game to set Barcelona game, you know, Barso, and of course I also have Man City so I'm so. But my main share Barca game, no muka krana may move on and fan floor. But before I come Barca, you know, there's one from person me kafa Atletico Madrid team now. Atletico Madrid are one side the you can almost all the time say Arsenal were 2 of the best 4 and 5s. Oh, we are here. Oh, you 4 and 5 for me and son. Obey Arsenal, the next in China.
Gabriel Saliba.
Very, BIB. Aerial durability, they survive ground duels, they win all that, and they are even durable in contact. And yet, Senator Maka 50-50 we are pushing off the board. Said I'm up for the PK, but these are very different profiles, and they come up against Solo and Griezmann, Julian Alvarez. Yeah, it's a big game tonight. Let's go back to the able pushing everything they can. And one for me who say, "Oh, my chances another run back crosses." Yeah, and I'm doing Arsenal. So and penetrate it will be very difficult for them. But in my little opinion, the imagine chairman say, let's go Madrid bet me the ball. Because usually so Obia person game no be enjoy, you know, should have the full time say or share 90 minutes, you know, I'm not quite yeah, you move on and share the other games to how Barca a game, you know, so because it's also another big game. So for Barca there, most of the fans at the time and they say me come my Barca, me come my Barca. I don't say no. I had the idea so you only need to speak about the reality. Barca pressing in the final third or Omujo position I'm at the board about. A back goal scoring there against Olympiacos and yet big issue for my Barca Rashford, Fran Torres, Dani Olmo, Femi Lopez, Lamia, whoever be in the final third, no, there'll be a couple of chances for these attackers. But the imagine Cheme Pan said without the ball, what is going to be the shape of Barcelona? Yeah, so Barca a shape no anchor yet a well organized shaper to be very honest about the team. Olympiacos will bow away in today. But have you forgotten that most of the time, you know, Barca home or away, they have the same disease. The same disease in Anayao. Barca 18 in the war. Say all both fierce or away. Defensively, they don't keep the shape. Offensively, they don't put much pressure on the position. And in turnovers, and that team about be very, very weak. Yes, Arojo had that last goal. Man for him says something about Arojo Basso. As some yearly say, yes, so yeah, there you got all the 3 points for Barcelona.
Shall I check notes and sound no strong man because I'm say deal no Facebook sound no.
Feedback in the
check it. But I had the eba, so mon check you.
Moment check him out. Barcelona met me alcohol. Okay, so yeah, I am trying to sign a big warning to Barcelona fans. Say almost a game now. Olympiacos are a minus in terms of Champions League. I agree. Barca or some of the top players in the final third, I also agree. But defense no the more pressure at their back also. And that is one thing. Yeah, dear Barca for it to be and so I'll be very much worried. Very, very, very much worried. One thing I've seen about this Barca team, they say every time watch this situation, they don't even put much pressure on the opposition. PSG didn't know. Watch it here. And if me highlight you already, you might feel say fluke. In possession, Barca is astute, but without the ball, I've always been a fear with regards to this team. Yeah, me technicians, you know, mommy that kind of response that I'm making. So me chem a Man City there no, and me nima de Corinthia and you know yes, but na person me chem call Man City there na sana obako Mickey Honma. Pep Guardiola, a very tough manager for some of the opposition coaches. One thing about Pep is this stage of the Champions League ain't shaky Pep Guardiola against Villarreal. No, ain't shaky Pep Guardiola. And I'll be going say he can score more than even 3 goals tonight. What I would admit and say the defense and be consider chances to Villarreal. Last to say taking chances and I saw Muntimin taking and come off for. But what I do agree is say Man City will control the game. Villarreal into Bibia. Nick Pepe, Mekataji, the 2 forwards leading the Villarreal team in that 4-4-2, you know, about pressure about Man City. So, but it's a teamer and as a gamer and broke Man City. So they can score 3 goals, but remember Villarreal 1 goal. It will fee 3-1 for Manchester City. Yeah, may hold you on FSC. They can't make it so.
Okay, well, Mammy Nana Fimembra, Mike, Conti, more sound than I refresh it. Our page no refresh our Benya. Mike.
Fancy, may I say, but stories are now here about Vincent Company. I was one of the few people, I vehemently defended him and said, I pray and hope Senor Mabeko Yediaman. And I'm very happy with how things have gone. And Bayern are extending a contract, initially Nankebewu 2027. Omatrim the court 2029. Now what this means is that Bayern enya didier strong. First, Omukofa company Bayern, they liked his work, his body of work at Burnley and everything. It looked very good, but they were a bit also much more. They were a bit skeptical. Say, Omu take more of a risk. Dear, yeah, no clubs or the Omuko relegation or the Burnley relegation. So what the club can say to say by a name, dear no bet me and the side, oh, Yenim so a good coach, but or handle big team that and big teams comes with its own issues and a mano for the contract for 2027 and share the bas Sikasem NC said your company nation share guarantees he wouldn't get it like he would expect. Let's give him the job. Let's see how he does.
Not to me.
So what Bayern are doing now is to pay back company in a good manner. Said, dear, yes, saw what share and wait me you failed. You've succeeded. You did not fail. Sadia, let's back you up. So this is not just an extension of Netanya, but also there will be improvements in Sikasem and the other guarantees and privileges he will enjoy. So it goes on to prove that Bayern enya didie ewo company mu ambetimi na to adwumene so, and he came at a point in time whereby we're making changes as well to the structure of the team. Max Ebel was appointed as a board member responsible for sport, Christoph Friend as a technical director. So they had brought in new faces. Thomas Tuchel failed to follow through with that process, and then he failed to win over the board. So he was good enough regarding the Omoheshe. Tuchel is a good coach, but what handle teams be to say by now, there are extras you need to add, especially issues that have to do with making sure that there is no more drama emerging from the dressing room where players ebeti etua ebufu beba kasakasa besi coach ni players enya issues. This was very prevalent during the time of Thomas Tuchel, but under company what bibisa who complain be from player be. Even players who were ostracized by Tuchel, including Joshua Kimmich and then to Leon Goretzka, they now feel very good part of the squad that company is building at Bayern Munich. And it goes on to show that he has the quality to manage situations and get the best out of his players while put to bed any issue dressing room Bayern from FC Hollywood. The reason Bayern is known as FC Hollywood, but when you say issues tie PA3 club nimba, almost every season there will be an issue that the media will hold and speak to. Typical of Asante Kodako, it happens to big clubs. They be a pesi enyemu asem ne eka. And mostly ana players na do one few say free or mohoba. So FC Hollywood are known for drama, but under company there's been few drama at Bayern. Amanioma are stable and he's been able to work very hard. So aside being a good coach, he's an excellent human relations expert. Wabua improve the unity and the harmony in the dressing room, and at the results nobody moment. And Bayern will love to work with such a person for a consistent period. it goes on to prove again the results in the are highly impressive. In the Bundesliga, check record, I think 42 matches. He's won 39. He's lost like 4 or so. Clearly, it shows something. Say, Oyobia or the club, not every baby are no more what you call him. And if people are mistaken and think that winning the Bundesliga and the idea by any year before company came, Bayer Leverkusen had won it, and then they are disgraced by Bayern Munich.